G'day guys, it's Guy Andrews here with Guy's Garage. This is a bit of a technical video for those of you that way inclined. I've just done a couple of track days in the i30N and I sort of got a benchmark with a relatively stock car, then made a couple of modifications to the car and then went back to the same track. So bear with me if you're interested in what I did to the car and the time gains that we made, and stick around. So yeah, let's go through. I've got the nat soft times up here on the top of the car, but I broke it down on this little whiteboard here so you guys could see. So we were at Queensland Raceway in southeast Queensland, and we did the Clubman circuit and the Sprint circuit, which if you watch V8 supercars, they use the big paperclip circuit, which is really hard on brakes and that big stop. So this is some of the inner parts of the track, which is probably actually more interesting, to be honest. A few more, less high speed and a little less wear and tear on the car. The Clubman circuit's actually 2.1 kilometres long, and it has 5 right-hand corners and 2 left-hand corners. And the Sprint circuit is same 5 right, 2 left, but it's 1.9 k's, 1.89 long. So you can see here, July 9th, I took the car out and I actually ran it with OEM brakes. And I'll just put this down for a sec, just show you the tyres that I ran. I ran these Yokohama 8008Rs in 235/35/18 on the front, and I had a set of sort of old Hankook RS4s on the rear that I had on the car when I got the car. I don't know how many Ks I had on them, but they were probably getting a bit old and a bit hard, so it was a bit of an odd sort of tyre setup. On the Clubman circuit, I did a 63/92, and remember here, there's probably some driver mods here. I hadn't done these tracks before either, so you got to allow that, but we'll talk more about that later. On the Sprint circuit back in July 9th, I did a 60.59. Before I go into what the new times, you might have already got a bit of an indication of the new times here, but I wanted to tell you what mods I did and what tyres I ran for the faster times. So that's probably the interesting part, and then we can talk about the speed difference. So when I came back from the July 9th one, I went and got a set of these new Nankang CRS. They're a 200 tread wear. But this is interesting. So these tyres really did hold on and gave me a nice feedback and confidence, and as the session grew, as I did more laps, I grew in confidence and definitely improved. The other mod that I made, so I had those front and rear. The other mod that I made was these Intima RS brake pads. So this was one session. So there's still a fair bit of meat on those, but they have worn down. Yeah, a little bit more on the piston side, but I would have to say they've worn down maybe 20% on one side and 10 on the other, 10 or so on the other. So I did do, let me just check the amount of laps that I did. Here we did, no, I haven't got the lap chart there, but I do believe I did about 18 laps on each of the circuits. Yeah, the other mod I didn't mention between the two, it's a very important one too. Between the two sessions in July and August, is I did the rear seat delete, which is another video I can link to. So I took the rear seat out, which saved us a bit over 30 kilos in weight. So yeah, that's definitely going to help with stopping, turning, rotating the car, everything really. The lighter the car can be, the better. So if we go back here, in August 4th, after I've done the modifications, I've done the tyres and the brake pads, that's all. I did good .4 Castrol racing brake fluid as well. Time differential, we've got to allow for that, so it was an 8:53 AM session versus a 2:46 PM session, so 62.69, so it's about 1.2 seconds faster. Some of that's driver mod, although I did improve my driving in the afternoon because, you know, the first few corners in this track and the last one are the same, both tracks, so I definitely improved there. So you got to allow for a bit of driver mods in the afternoon session as well. But yeah, the car definitely felt I could turn the car in better on the nose with the brakes, better feel, more bite, more confidence in the high-speed corners, particularly in the rear end. Not wanting to step it. I was moving around, typical hatchback style, but not wanting to. Didn't feel like it was ever going to rotate on me. Sprint circuit in the afternoon. It's a shorter track, so you'd expect less variation in time, but I think partly due to the driver mod. 11 o'clock in the day. I did a couple of 59s. I'll put the link to the video. 59 and a half. So back in July, I did a 60.6 basically, and then I was going 50.6, a second faster. And then I was running low on fuel, so I went and fueled up and had a nice drive a few kilometres down the road to get some fuel. And I noticed the oil temp did go from just above halfway to just below halfway. It felt like the car had a bit more to give power-wise when I went back on the track. And a 58.6 it resulted in, which was a really good time on this car. So just those couple of mods, and there's no substitute for seat time, just getting out there and getting laps. But let's just have a quick look at these tyres. So this is on the outside right, so this is one that cops the most turning on the outside left of the car in the right corner. But I don't know if you can pick that up in that video there, but getting wear down on the outside edge here. So that's that classic, I'll show you a photo, a still that I got. You can see the front end really does suffer from not having any neg camber. So if I could get those wheels tilted over like that, so when we turn into the corner, you can use more of this inside edge of the tyre. So that's going to need to be rotated, that tyre. But yeah, you can really notice that wear through the middle there and the outer edge. So they are wearing generally pretty good. I've done about 500 k's of street driving, just getting to them from the track, and then that track session. So yeah, I think this could be a really good excuse to get some Shockworks coilovers put on the car with some negative camber on the front of the car, because longer term we'll wear less tyres maybe. Hopefully my wife will buy that one. Yeah, so I've got one more thing to show you. I'm just got these from Intima, some new disc brakes. Apparently going to handle the heat a bit better. Let's check these little puppies out. So vented, grooved, so that's supposed to help dissipate some of those built-up gases, and some pretty heavy venting, and nice and chunky. So I'm going to get them on today as well. So the next one, the next track day, we'll have these. Got the rotor off, as you can see. Let's have a closer look at these rotors. So this rotor's in not bad shape, really. It's got a bit of a lip forming up there, but these ones obviously have the grooves, and apparently have a different metal compound or carbon something or other. I don't know. I'd have to read more about it. I'm sure you guys could tell me in the comments. It should perform better with higher brake temperatures produced from these Intima RS pads. So let's get them on, and more importantly, let's get back to the racetrack. Just double check everything and bed them in. Just had to come inside. It was raining outside, but so he's got this wheel off as expected. The side that did half the amount of turning, or less than half the amount of turning, is not worn in on the shoulder like the other one. Still a great argument there for some neg camber. Shockworks shocks. My big question to you guys, if you're a viewer of the channel or you're watching this, do I spend more money on this chassis, this i30 chassis, i.e. get coilovers and engine tuning done, with its, obviously, it's at the end of the day, it's still going to be a hot hatch, or a an i30, it has its limitations, front wheel drive, or do I sell this car and get something else? Ultimately, I'd love to get into a Supra, get back into a rear wheel drive car. Done a fair bit of drifting and stunt work, so I like that style of driving too, and I love those B58 motors that they've got in those Supras. But do I hold on and wait till I can get into a Supra, or do I get rid of this now and get into a Yaris and you know, definitely be quick or quicker than the i30. You know, I just don't want to overcapitalise on the i30, spending money on coilovers and stuff. Do I just bite the bullet now and get into a Yaris, or do I just play with this chassis and see where it can go? I know ultimately it's probably not going to be as quick as a Yaris, and definitely won't be as quick as a Supra. I certainly enjoy driving it. I really have a lot of fun behind the wheel. So yeah, it's just that, you know, it comes back to that money thing. Let me know what you think in the comments. All right, guys, please subscribe, and the more subscribers I can get, the more of these videos I can do and the more mods I can do. So love your support, love the comments, and we'll see you at the next one.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.